Okay, looks like we're about ready to go here. So, hello everyone. I'm Xerix. I'm here to commentate this year's final match of the Dominion Online Championship between cider01 and Marin, both of whom have, of course, had extremely strong runs through the tournament, as you need in order to get to this point. It looks like we'll have small uh, delay in starting. It was definitely a year of upsets in the tournament, as we have now the 15th seed playing the 31st seed in the finals here. But they're both obviously very strong players. Uh, Cider is a multiple time champion of the Dominion League. Has never actually finished lower than first in a division and league, which is extremely impressive. And we'll see if they continue that success here. And Marin is, of course, a very long time member of the Dominion community who is certainly displayed their prowess this year in the championship. And we have the first board here, which looks, obviously there's really excellent thinning in terms of goat and priest. There is not much in the way of draw. You can use, um, yeah, really nothing is actually net hand size increasing here other than some of the pixie boons. Capital City, of course, converts priest money into draw, but you need to reduce hand size by 2 to get there, so it'll be interesting to see how much they choose to build. There's also Stampede, which is of course sort of a source of draw, which is available if you have the appropriate number of cards in play. Um, if there was less other trashing, you might consider trying to do Stampede Monastery to thin. So they both open Priest Pixie, which is, I think, a very straightforward, good option. Cider has the option to pop, but it would really only get a gold. They have the option to Stampede here, which they might take, given that they don't really have anything. Well, they have the just the goat, I guess, down in the 5 cards and sorts of things that are sort of exciting to do on their next turn. One thing to watch out for is that priest plus goat can really generate a good amount of money fairly soon. So there's a question of when you would like to add uh, astrolabe for plus buy so that you can take advantage of that. The defiled shrine choice will also be interesting here, I think, given that the thinning is very strong. So could see a fairly early uh, defiled shrine. I don't expect to see it on the shuffle, but probably on the next one. Cider grabs the astrolabe. Makes sense, I think. I expect Marin to also take one. There goes for the curse. Okay. I don't think it's a very unreasonable curse to take, but it's still definitely some opportunity cost to it, given that uh, you now have to spend another turn getting the plus buy, and of course you also have to trash the. Is the engine going to use priest for draw? It's pretty tricky. Um, I mean, it's possible, I guess, if you. Well, yeah, I mean, if you play two priests and then you can use three capital cities to draw, um, there's not really a great gainer here. I mean, you can use astrolabe buys to buy coppers or whatever. I don't think uh, I don't think we see a lot of sort of buying stuff to trash the priest. I think it's going to be more efficient to use camel train to add golds as payload cards. Yeah, that's true. You could try and feed off masterpiece. I just think it's going to be fairly clunky, given that you need to play two priests before you can actually, before the capital cities are actually net draw. Cider passes on the Sky's Gift, which, yeah, I could see why it's worth considering here. But you still have at least one more turn of strong payload from trashing something to Goat and also to Priest. Yeah, that's true. You could try and you could also discard coppers and stuff for the settlers draw. That's probably a little bit less clunky actually. Uh, maybe we'll see some of that. I am clearly not awake enough yet this morning because I'm missing all these unconventional draw engines on my first read of the kingdom. Okay, so they go for two golds. looks pretty strong here. They'll head into greening. Fairly quickly. Uh, Marin is one money behind on being able to do the same thing. I would guess you probably take like something like Camel Train Capital City here. This is a fairly uh, harmless dud for cider. They mostly just miss on the priest. The other stuff down there is like a capital city and a horse, which you don't mind leaving. I did have to check and make sure that Camel Train cannot exile islands. So yeah, they go ahead and take a province. They put a pixie in exile, which is interesting. I guess they think it's more likely that they'll be able to pick up a pixie on like a $10 hand than they'll be buying Capital City on like a sub 8 hand. So Marin will be able to hit 6 here, so I would guess that they would like a couple golds in the deck. Uh, they will be behind by a province, presumably on after Cider's turn, but with the 6 points from the Defiled Shrine, they're not in terrible shape. Oh, they go for Astrolabe Pixie. Now that's very interesting. I guess perhaps we will try and see the big priest thing go after all. I'm not sure how else you can sort of justify that over taking 2 golds. My guess is that the early greening is going to work out okay for Cider. They'll be able to uh, add more capital city at some point and just keep cycling through the deck to find their payload. Although certainly with only 2 golds, this is not like the world's largest amount of payload. So they would definitely enjoy finding Mountain's Gift, for example. So Marin gets the Swamp's Gift, which is definitely one of the most straightforward sources of draw on this board, shall we say. So we'll see, I guess, this turn in what direction Marin is planning on taking the deck here. If they're going to add, they'll have three buys, so they could go something like Priest and then double copper. That's still not enough things to trash to actually be able to play both of the priests and trash something with the. Okay, so they go for another astrolabe and a settlers and a copper. So they're gonna try and draw with the settlers capital synergy city synergy, but yeah, they're it's gonna take a while until they get to the point where they can actually be making uh, a reasonable amount of money. Cider takes the Sun's Gift here, which I think is maybe a little greedy. I don't think you really need to be hitting Province this turn. Um, you're in a position where you probably are going to expect to be missing at some point and take some more components when you miss or some more golds. Um, they with only now they're at a point where they need to find both golds, the goat and the astrolabe to hit 8, unless they want to trash something with the priest, which is going to be, shall we say, not happening every turn. So Marin was able to get a little bit of draw out of this capital city center settlers thing, not that much. Um, just based on the order of which the cards turned up. Excuse me. Earth's Gift is definitely nice from them. They're kind of gains limited. Yeah, taking 4 pixies. It's a little bit appealing, but mostly just because, Pixie is a good card. Uh, it's a little bit hard for me to evaluate what they should do because I'm having trouble seeing how what they're trying to do catches up. Here at least I'll get another juicy defiled shrine, which I assume that they'll take. I mean, there's not much reason to take Secret Passage over something like Pixie, and other than that, yeah. So Cider has the option to mill here, or to maybe try a Stampede or something. That could be their plan uh, in order to get through the provinces, is just to Stampede when they miss 8. Looks like they've definitely decided not to mill. So okay, they'll go Stampede Pixie. I think that looks nice. The Pixies can definitely help get to 8 as well. Oh yeah, the Secret Passage can set up Wisps too. Okay, yeah, I mean this is very standard stuff. Yeah, that's true. Marin definitely has a reputation for playing, shall we say, complicated engines, especially from years and years ago when that was not considered to be a very common thing to do. So we'll see what they do here. They can add more draw. They're up to 4 buys now, which is starting to be enough. You could consider adding second priest. Yeah. Okay, so they go for the Astrolabe and the Pixies. Hard to argue with that. Um, the boons are gonna do good things. They're gonna give you gains. You need gains in order to get to the point where you have the very large number of cards in your deck that you need in order to sort of make this engine work. So Cider has top decked their provinces and bottom decked their golds, which has meant that they've had to use 4 of the horses, which is probably more than they were really hoping to. They kill their camel train. It's Now they find the mountain's gift. I assume that you take this. Now, well, they have double province in hand, so that's definitely nice result coming off that stampede. We'll just see how well they're able to get through the rest of the provinces before Marin can get some sort of big priest thing online. I really don't think Marin can make 28 money. Well, let's see, because they only have the one priest. They have they have three pixies. Yeah, Earthgift for more priests does make the math a little complicated. Um, so just by itself, Marin, assuming that they play the priest and then pop all the pixies. The last boon I think is forest. Um, so priest popping all the pixies, that's only 8 money or something. They have four astrolabes that gets them to uh, 12. Goat copper is 14, so they need to find 10 money off of things that they can get off of boons essentially, plus maybe making figuring out how to make some money uh, from Capital City, which is also kind of tricky without really much draw to back that up. Even I think if you stacked the boon stack, it would be hard um, because you probably need one boon to be Earth's Gift so that you can get at least one more priest, and then you need another boon to be uh, well. Yeah, the question is whether you can get back around to that priest that you gained without the other boon being like C's gift, and at that point you've popped all your pixies and you don't have yeah, I mean Marin obviously does not have to take any provinces here. Um, I don't think it really works out to spend money on a province now when that could be something like two priests or something along those lines, which will probably generate more than 8 money on the next turn. Hmm. I would not think that you really want to pop. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Cider is not threatening to win. It's just a matter of, Marin needing to get enough points over the next couple turns. But I think, I mean, this is going to be an engine that uses priest for payload, so it's the best thing to do is just going to be to try and score all on one turn. Okay, so Marin makes a decent amount of money off of the capital cities, which is nice. They lose another pixie for Swamp's Gift. So that's all their. No, they still have one. They still have one pixie down there with the goat. So it's gonna be. They're gonna have a little bit harder time making money without being able to go priest into pixie pops very much. There go settlers, capital city, bustling village. Hmm. So this is still really not threatening to do much on their next turn. So their plan is, I guess, to have the draw going, add priests on this upcoming turn, and then uh, go for it. Which definitely could work, but it's sort of reliant, I think, on. I mean, if Marin can, if there's three provinces in the pile, obviously, I think that is overcomable. If there's two provinces in the prop pile, it's going to be a little bit harder. Um, Cider will like be able to take an island here. And this is probably uh, something you're fairly happy to see as Cider, the three provinces in that hand, and then you have a decent chance at getting to another one on this turn. Although obviously you would prefer to have hit five so that you could stampede again. Yeah, Marin kills their last pixie. They are a Settlers Bustling Village autoplay off person. Um, I probably shouldn't comment any more on that. It is nice to look at some coppers. So they have a nice amount of overdraw this turn, although they did use the pixie for the double lab effect. See what they go for here. They definitely have the opportunity to take a good number of priests, although if they're exiling Secret Passage with a camel train, that really does not imply to me that they plan on taking a lot of priests. They're still worried about draw, I guess. So let's see, they have 17 money this turn. Their goal is going to have to be to, huh, okay. So they go for greening over 2 turns. Cider does get to the province here. So that'll put them at 38. So Marin will be down by 17. They'll need province plus a lot, which yeah, they need some miracles from this wisp to start out with. Okay, they're gonna see a capital city, so they do have some ability to get through the deck here. I just don't think that they really put themselves in a good position to win on their last turn, since they still only have the one priest. They're definitely taking a very patient approach to getting to the number of points they need to win the game. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously no way the deck makes 26. I think to get there, well, you definitely need 2 priests. I would guess you need 3. Yeah, they really they do go into the shuffle. They will like be able to get through almost all of it if they draw here. Exile capital city. Um, so I guess they're not going for priests, or at least not more than 1 priest. All right, they get the first priest. Yeah, capital city, 2 priests, 2 coppers. Sounds good to me. I mean, you need to think about the plus buy as well. If you need another astrolabe here, um, yeah, this is the reason I don't like the capital city. I think you have to. I mean, obviously, there's no shortage of terminal space here. So, I think you would probably need to go with something like, some priests, astrolabe, coppers. So cider has an interesting decision here. Um, okay, well they find the province, so it's not actually an interesting decision. Okay, so cider has taken the first one. I think very cleanly played by them to motor through the provinces there. Marin, I think maybe had some chances if they built more aggressively towards the priest megaturn type of thing. So this board, we have catapult. Always makes everyone's life a little bit more uh, discardy. A lot of draw between paddock and pathfinding and wishing well. For the open here, you could consider catapult. Well, I mean, taking a catapult is very obvious. What you pair it with is less obvious. Wishing well seems reasonable. Ghost Town isn't crazy. Innkeeper isn't crazy. I think especially as player one. Silver is also not crazy. It'd be really nice, I think, to get a paddock fairly early. Just, very pleasant card for having money and also draw. Excuse me. Second catapult. I am really not a fan of double double catapult opens. Um, I would say one is usually good enough, at least until you're sort of later in the game. I go for scavenger. I'm not such a fan of the scavenger. Cider goes for the ghost town. Yeah, okay, two catapult. The ghost town does make the two catapults better. I mean, that's a valid point, and it also makes the scavenger a little bit better. Cider sort of got tantalizingly close to a nice five hand here off the ghost town, but we'll have to settle for something else. Goes for wishing well, which is nice. Marin misses their catapult, which is very sad for them, I think. They do hit five. We'll see what they go with. I would definitely, I think, take a paddock. And they concur. The hovel trash is very interesting to me, especially knowing that Marin has the catapult down here. You basically just give them, you give them the ability to buy something. When if you made them discard, they can't trash and buy something. So I don't think that that was a very particularly good time to choose to trash the hovel. Although I definitely understand the logic of uh, maybe trashing non-copper things earlier when the discard attack is less good. But that was definitely, I think, a hand where you could tell the discard attack was good. Marin gets some horses in the next shuffle. Marin was likely to have collision. Why do you say that? It was a clean shuffle, right? Well, I mean, with a paddock, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the sense that they had three terminals, sure. There's a reasonable chance that one of them shows up. Well, we'll see. I mean, they can trash the ghost town, get out a curse, buy the mint. It's an option. It doesn't sound terrible. I'm not such a fan of mint on this board. I think that there's a lot of value in uh, being able to, you know, trash the coppers at your own pace. Um, you get some value out of attacking your opponent, obviously. I would say that Marin seems fairly ahead at this point. Cider has not been able to reach 5 yet. Well, I mean, they've been able to, but they have not, made the catapult decisions that would get them there. They haven't bought a 5. Let's put it that way. They will get one here. Um, they have a lot more ghost towns, so they can fit the paddocks into the deck pretty straightforwardly. Whereas Marin is sort of, okay, they go for the mint here. We'll see how they get. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have the catapult and the scavenger, but that's not a ton of money. Marin goes for the mint as well. Again, I'm not. I'm not really sure you get that much value out of it. You're going down two stop cards. Alright, so Cider does still have 5 money in the deck, so they'll be able to build back up with Paddocks. I think that there was a case for Marin to attack last turn in order to sort of try and prevent that from happening, since if you can limit them to just like buying a silver or something, uh, you have a larger tempo advantage. Marin gets to 8 here, so they will have the option of pathfinding. They don't have an amazing target at the moment, but pathfinding Paddock is definitely something that's going to be nice in the medium term. Yeah, I mean they definitely do need a candlestick maker at some point, but I don't think this is the hand where you take it where you take it. You know, you are going to get attacked at some point. You are going to want to attack yourself at some point. Uh, there's going to be hands where you don't have 8. So the question for Marin, I guess, is pathfinding better than just another Paddock? At this point, I mean, there's an argument that, well, you know, I mean, the Marin is also pretty over terminal, so they could consider something like a bandit camp. And I think, I mean, there's an argument that for your next turn, that the bandit camp is going to be more useful than the Paddock. But I think since you need the pathfinding at some point, and you're not sort of guaranteed to be able to hit 8 on command, you should take it now, and they do. Excuse me. Cider does not find their Paddock, which is definitely not very helpful. So Marin has the option to play the Scavenger now and then the Paddock, which is not particularly helpful because the Paddock is not non-terminal yet. Yeah, I think you definitely want to play at least one Paddock, so you may as well click on it now. I would certainly click Paddock again, yeah. Although I guess it's worth considering if it's worth if you want to set something up with a scavenger. It would definitely be bad if Marin drew their bandit camp off the top, but that was fairly unlikely. They get the plus buy, uh, which is definitely something they need. It definitely made the game closer, I would say. I think Marin is still probably ahead by, a turn, half a turn, something like that. Cider also is going to have to take a hit at some point to on tempo to get the candlestick maker. Which is probably going to be this turn, I guess. Something like play the paddocks, play the catapult by candlestick maker. Yeah, I mean, that's also a good thing to do. I'm not super convinced the curse is going to hurt Marin that much. They do have two catapults, although they haven't really been able to play them. It might be some time. We're not that close to uh, the paddocks becoming non-terminal. So yeah, I agree. It was a good timing on the trashing the mint, which is definitely something you're going to want to do at some point. Marin finds their candlestick maker, which is uh, definitely the most important thing for them this turn. They can fire their mint back. They choose to go for the discard attack instead. I would buy uh, Fortress Candlestick Maker. Yeah, that seems pretty good. I was thinking about maybe Ghost Town instead of Fortress, but yeah, Fortress is probably going to be better. I think that Ghost Town is uh, you know, well, I mean, it's just a nice card to begin with, and also you would like to empty that pile so that the paddocks become non-terminal, and you can't really expect Cider to help that much with them. Cider gets their second candlestick maker. Now, I think Marin wants the paddocks non-terminal just because they're having, they're over-terminaled a lot more than Cider is. I mean, I think both players are over-terminaled at this point, but I'm sorry, I misspoke. Cider got their first candlestick maker. Marin picked up their second. So it's an interesting question what you put on top here. I would probably put on top catapult. They go for horse, alright, they're gonna try and draw a bunch of the deck. And they get through, you know, almost all of it, so it works out for them. They'll get to trash two things, which is very nice, and buy three useful cards. It seems like a good spot to trash the overgrown estate, put a horse on top. So here I guess we see something like Ghost Town, Double Paddock, maybe Ghost Town, Paddock, Bandit Camp. Yeah, I would say that, at this point, Marin is back to having a pretty substantial advantage in the game. They had some shuffles where maybe they weren't going to get around to everything, and they, did. And so they're just, a solid amount of ahead. Very classy snap wish there. Maybe classy isn't the right word. It was impressive. I was impressed. So the question here is, do you play the catapult or the scavenger? I would say I would probably play the scavenger. I think putting a horse on top is nice. You do need the second candlestick maker, but I mean the question is just in a vacuum, which is better. Like I don't think this attack does a whole lot, and I don't think that killing the copper is all that important. So here cider can go for, huh, okay. I'm surprised they don't go for the second ca candlestick maker. I would think that's something you want, and you're not going to want it less next turn. Marin did definitely go with a little bit of greedy discarding there, I think, with just discarding a horse. So we'll see if they get punished for that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to discard a candlestick maker there. I mean, if you are not, if you're not drawing the deck, you don't need three buys so much anyways. So yeah, definitely a rough turn from Marin. That's true. They can buy three things, but one of them is a candlestick maker, and I'm not really sure how good the fourth candlestick maker is, or the third candlestick maker. And I think if they kept a horse in hand, that they probably would have just drawn back around to the candlestick maker anyways. So cider, well, given that they chose not to take second candlestick maker last turn, is I am guessing going to go for the provinces this turn. I think you definitely play the horse here. Get the other horses on top. Hmm. What's the rationale for not playing it? Just you think you'll need the draw, but not the reliability? Yeah, I mean, four on top is a little bit of an awkward number. You'd prefer to have five on top, and then you don't really care so much that they get discarded. Marin will certainly top deck horse here. A little bit of a scary hand for them again. Yeah, this is definitely this is starting to get concerning for them, I would say here. I'm not sure if Marin, the sort of success they had with in drawing the deck was sort of an illusion from having horses built up, and now they're falling behind without that. So what they buy here, Steph suggests province double estate. Um, I don't really see the need to take six battlefield points. Um, I mean, I can see the argument. It's a 4 point swing. Um, I think Marin they do have four buys. Yeah, taking two doesn't do anything. I mean, Cider only has two buys. They can take four battlefield points. So the question is, do you take six or do you take zero? I think. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think taking two is okay if you decide that you need a province. But then you're doing that more for because you need a province than because you need the two battlefield points, which are yours anyways when you want them, assuming you know that the deck actually starts working at some point. So Cider also does not make it through their deck. Yeah, not getting to eight here is really, really bad. This is the fun of paddock draw. Sometimes you feel like the deck draws itself, but you did not actually have enough draw. So what do we take here? Is cider taking another candlestick maker feels a little bit too little, too late. Could go for a duchy. Just hope you can run down the green cards fast enough. Okay, that's what they decide to do. I guess one of the issues that Cider is encountering is that they have some duration imbalance issues here with those ghost hounds. You know they're on 3-1 split, and they suffered from that this turn, I guess you could say. So Marin, I would guess is going to be able to triple this turn or to, you know, double hold coffers, buy a paddock or something like that, which is um, probably also good enough to win, I would guess. Excuse me. This ordering is a little awkward. Yeah, like you're not gonna get to see that spoils without burning a lot of horses, which I don't think you should do. I think you should leave those horses on top. This looks really, really bad to me. This looks like you're just forcing a dud uh, on your next turn. Okay, yeah, and I mean you could have played the scavenger there. I mean, yeah, you could Marin could have got the spoils out by playing scavenger before not playing any horses, just play scavenger and then put the spoils on top and then catapult the overgrown estate to draw it. And now I think that they're in for possibly a lot of pain on their next turn. They do have a lot more ghost towns coming in, so that could save them. Yeah, not trashing the Necropolis is also really bad. That's just a totally useless card at this point. It probably, okay, that I really don't like. They're gonna have so they're gonna have three horses in deck going into their next turn. So it's just not, you just aren't gonna draw. There's not, it's not gonna happen. They do have quad, which is, certainly a large number of provinces, but also, you know, well, it's a large number of stop cards in your deck that you've just sort of ruined. So they take three provinces and paddock. That is, I think, probably what I would do as well in this situation. So if I'm cider here, uh, yeah, that's the question: is should they double? Um, Marin doesn't need that much to win. So if cider doubles, they have 32. Marin needs 8. Then Marin could definitely get 8 even without getting through the deck. Um, yeah, I don't think double feels great to me here from cider's position. I mean, it's still, well, maybe it's the best chance. They do take the double. We'll see how much Marin gets here. Yeah, trash spoils and double does sound a lot better than just double and not trash spoils. I don't think the double is particularly likely to win, but it's still probably the best option. So Marin needs to draw to okay, now Marin needs 10 points, which is a little harder there. So they need to draw, well, I mean, okay, it's easy to get the extra point from catapulting a ghost town. So they need to find 13 money here. They're at 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, so it looks like it's in hand. All right, that is the end of game two. The match is now tied 1-1. This board, we have some fun Silk Merchant stuff. You can buy them and they're a good card. You can trash them with Zombie Apprentice. You can trash them with Broker. Um, you can play them to draw more cards. Yeah, Necroacting Troop is nice for sure. The payload is nothing special here, so I'm guessing you just sort of you know, get Horde, go from there. Cider goes for the Goat Herd. Yeah, I mean the 4/3 is much better. The Broker is a lot nicer than than the Goat Herd for sure. I would personally not Forest Dwellers this turn. I would probably wait for something like turn 3. I think that you're happy with your 4/4 and shuffling both those cards. I think on 3/4 I'm probably inclined to take silver instead of the goat herd. The goat herd really does not inspire joy. So as cider, the question is, do forest dwellers here? I would think probably not. I'm not seeing a ton of. I would probably, well, it depends. I mean, whether you're using it or not next turn depends like on what Marin does. Uh, if Marin does trash a card on their turn, you probably want to use it, assuming you know are going to be able to play the goat herd. As Marin, I would definitely forest dwellers here. I want to find this broker. And indeed, there it is. Yeah, and then you could trash this estate. You can draw cards, and you have a nice, you know, you get to shuffle again, which is nice. So here I think is cider. Yeah. See this shuffle is not good, I think. So I think you need to use the forest dwellers at the start of the turn, or commit to not playing the goat herd, but that's also terrible. With 6 money, probably I would take Broker Border Guard. I think sounds nice. Silk Troop. You don't need the troop yet. So the thing on Necromancer acting troop boards is that, like the person who actually buys the acting troop is at a pretty big disadvantage since the other person can just buy a Necromancer, which is then a much better version of acting troop. So I think you are really incentivized uh, to delay taking the troop until you get to the point where you really need it. Cider goes for their forest dwelling now. I was not expecting to see this many goat herds played on this board, but it is. the best way to trash copper, at least. I would think you want a broker at some point so that you can like broker silk merchants. This is one of these funny boards, I think, where you can imagine sort of the end state of having a bunch of necromancers and like there's a bunch of nice cards in the trash. But because of, sort of the way necromancer works, I guess it's hard to tell at what point you actually start getting them and at what point you actually start putting nice cards in the trash when, this also makes your opponent's necromancers not better. Yeah, now seems nice. It's gonna help with your like terminal space issue, which you clearly have right now. Marin has trashed 1 copper, so has 6 money in deck plus the coffer. So they could go for okay, they choose not to go for anything like that. I would guess that they're planning on something like Silk Merchant Acting Troop, maybe. Necromancer Acting Troop is what I would have probably tried to get by trashing the estate instead of the. Or trashing nothing. There's definitely a case for trashing nothing there. Yeah, I think this basically just has to be an acting troop. Otherwise, yeah. See, otherwise you're gonna get this hand, and if one of those top 2 cards isn't broker, you're in some trouble. So now Cider can go for like a necromancer plus acting troop. They go for horde. Yeah, okay. They had to spend a villager to get a buy, which makes that less appealing for sure. That's a good point. The horde, I can't say that I'm a huge fan of, although obviously being able to broker golds is strong, but you sort of need some framework around that in order to actually line that up. Wow, another go turd. I am surprised. I am surprised. I guess their plan is basically to just use goat herds as draw rather than doing like, you know, silk merchant acting troop kind of draw, which yeah, I can't really say that I like that. You're sort of putting yourself at the in a vulnerable position where Cider can now just pivot away from trashing multiple cards per turn pretty easily, and then, you know, you just have a bunch of either blank cantripy cards or, you know, if they don't trash anything, then you just have ruined villages. So Cider, I guess, will go for maybe a state something. Yeah, by doing things that don't trash, I mostly mean like not going into the broker stuff where you're getting golds and brokering them. Okay, they go Sulk Estate, and now Marin has a fairly dead looking hand here. Yeah, Marin. Um, yeah, they really just overcommitted to goat herds, I think. I don't think that that's going to turn out for them. The question for Marin is, I guess, whether you uh, kill one of these goat herds to draw. I guess the question is, what are you actually sort of gaining from that? What is the reasonable outcome? Um, it's hard to see there being a really great outcome. You trigger a shuffle. You've played your broker already. I think Marin needs to be brokering the silk merchants to really accomplish anything at this point. There's not really anything else that their deck can do. Trash copper, trash goat herd for money by necro. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty good line. Certainly, I think Marin is at the point where they would like to be able to zombie apprentice some stuff. They go for another silk. This is, I think, too many silks for uh, several reasons. One of which is that you only have one broker. If you had two brokers, you could definitely. I mean, yeah, they're gonna draw their deck, but I mean, what's in their deck? They have some coppers, an estate, and some goat herds. You know, this is not. Um, I don't think they're, you know, getting closer very quickly to having a functional deck that does things. So we'll see if Cider picks up the second broker here. They choose not to take the buy, and they're just gonna go. I guess they are gonna play something money-ish from here, which does surprise me somewhat. Okay, so Marin has burned a villager here to get through the deck. Um, we'll see what direction they choose to sort of take the deck from here. They get a horde, which is, I guess, necessary in some sense because they need to start ramping payload and a border guard. The border guard, I think, should probably be an acting troop. Um, like once again, Marin is in a position here where if they don't find the broker quickly, they are uh, in trouble. Although I guess, I mean, they found the horde already, which is probably the thing that they wanted to see the most. Cider draws their deck. I would assume that they're going to buy like Province Silk Merchant here. Maybe Province Second Broker. But I think that last Silk Market Merchant looks pretty good for them actually. Yeah, for Cider, I don't think that the Apprentice, or sorry, that the Necromancer is that appealing. They don't have very many silks left. They've already brokered a bunch. So you may as well just take that last Silk Merchant. And then this turn, if you have, sort of a similar turn, you can go Province plus Broker or Province plus Necromancer. But I think for them that the Broker is probably better. Like trash a gold to draw 6 cards is strong. So Marin did find their what they needed. Uh, I guess their goat herds are really drawing a lot here still. So perhaps I was, writing off the goat herd heavy draw strategy too easily. Losing a villager for the third buy is very interesting. I am curious to see what they do here. I guess they're going for something. Well, I'm not going to say Necromancer acting troop again because I've been burned before thinking that they're going to go for that. But uh, maybe something like Necromancer Broker. They do go for the acting troop Necromancer. All right. It's good. Very nice of them to not, make spec chat, feel really bad about themselves. Cider's last card here is Silk Merchant, I think. which would assume they would like to find to get the third buy. Although they could just take double province, or no, this isn't double province. They could take province broker. Uh, seems fairly good. They are not in need of villagers at this moment by any means. They do get province necromancer. That's interesting. We'll see what they choose to use it for. I guess, it's also just another, you can play it as Silk Merchant. Marin can think about doing a cheeky zombie mason here. I'm not sure what the last card is. I guess it's the other copper. I don't think that killing the copper is going to be better than just playing this as acting troop. Of course, there's a case. I mean, if they want a third buy, they need to play it as Silk Merchant, but they don't have. Oh, it was a Silk Merchant. All right. Okay, they trashed both coppers already. Yeah. Given that the bottom card was Silk Merchant, I think it might have been worth it for them to do a Zombie Mason there, turn it into maybe to turn it into a broker. I mean, you're already, as we can see here, letting your opponent draw a lot off the goat herds. I mean, I guess this is the point of the necromancer, yeah, for cider. If Marin is going to keep trashing a lot, which they're going to trash less now. They are out of coppers. All right, they're going to go ahead and mill, which seems very reasonable, I think. And now this is essentially, I think, I don't think there's a way back for Marin at all. Given that, I'm going to take a minute to go and make another cup of tea. All right, we have a new board. This is an interesting one. There is scrying pool. There's not like sort of anything of the things that you want to see with scrying pool, like a nice cantrip. Hmm. You don't like the 2/5? I feel like mode counterfeit is okay. Yeah, I don't think Crystal Ball really qualifies as too much of a village. So I guess we are just playing money here. That's my thought. Obviously, it's tempting to try and do pool. The payoff is just super weak, like you're using pool to draw more pools, basically. Cider goes for Mask Skulk, which I think looks good. Second 5 is interesting. I don't think that the... Well, I mean, the second counterfeit is... Hmm, yeah. I was definitely thinking about a Skulk there. I am not an expert on Groom, but this does not look like a good Groom board to me at all. So Marin can just directly take the gold and not have to, take the detour through the Skulk. Uh, that is an excellent use of potion, Russ. I have to agree with you that that looks like a good use case. Marin has been drawing fairly nicely, I think, to not, collide draw the mask dead. So they'll be able to get thin, have a deck that has some golds in it, do some payload ramp by buying Skulk, and then I think that's cool, so to speak. Here we have the age-old question of whether you want a gold or you want two silvers. They go for Skulk, presumably plus silver, which is a good way of answering that particular question, or not answering it, I guess, depending on how you think about it. Yeah, I don't think Witch's Hut money is a thing. I don't think Witch's Hut is a bad card, but I don't think it's like a particularly good money card. Marin is on to the provinces. Seems fine. Maybe it's worth it to wait a shuffle, but I could definitely see the risk there. Like I wouldn't blow up the silver on this turn as Marin to get the province. I would just buy another gold. This is a pretty sad hand for cider. To kill gold with 4 provinces left in the pile, I don't feel like I want to kill the gold or the counterfeit. I feel like I just want to buy another gold. Or possibly a duchy. I mean, I think if you kill gold here and you buy province and then, uh, or they kill the counterfeit. I mean, okay, killing the counterfeit is. I think I like killing the counterfeit more than killing the gold at least. But the thing about blowing something up in this situation is, yeah, I mean, no cider takes a province, and you're not like necessarily in a great spot still. So Marin is now down a gold. I do not know what the gold count was. I'm guessing it's split 3-4 one way or the other. We are, I think, definitely headed into a fairly humorous endgame here where no one has a deck that can really do much of anything at all. Yeah, I'm also worried about that Haka. Yeah, I agree with Steph. You totally can risk your deck. I mean, you can risk falling behind because if you if you get the last 2 provinces, then you win anyways. And if your opponent blows up a bunch of stuff to get a bunch of duchies, then they threaten buying province very poorly. Although lining up with the counterfeits with the gold is always going to be dangerous. Like obviously Marin could buy province here, which they do choose to do. and we'll see if cider can get back. It's a lot of points. Seven points is a hefty number. Marin might be able to sort of, finish the game just by buying estates. Yeah, I think I like just buying estate rather than silver. Cider goes for killing the gold to get an extra estate. It's a beautiful hand, beautiful hand that we see here. All right, so cider does have uh, the possibility of winning here. I of course can't count. What's that? That's six. Yeah, or to tie. I mean the tie is I think very appealing probably for cider. In this situation, they'd be going up 2.5 to 1.5 in the match. So it's I mean it's basically as good as a win for them, I think. Is playing Mask never bad? Yeah, Marin has no actions in deck, so I guess it is just never bad. Cider takes the tie. All right, that was a quick one. And now we are at 2.5 to 1.5 in favor of cider01. And cider will get their start now to try and finish it off. And this definitely looks like a board. Yeah, the question is, do we Lost Arts Cavalry or Lost Arts Gear? I guess that's pretty clearly in favor of Cavalry, just because of Vineyards. You'll want to play a bunch of Cavalries, and Gear is just much less good at giving you Vineyards points. It is a fact. So with that in mind, they both have 4-3 to start. I would probably be opening Steward's Silos, yeah. I don't think it's crazy to maybe try Gear Steward instead, but I have very, very bad luck with Silos, so I'm a little biased against it. Marin looks like is also not a fan of the Silos. Is going to go for the Gear Steward open, I assume. Maybe they'll double gear. Nope, Gear Steward it is. Cider gets a very nice turn 3. Marin could pick up a counterfeit here, which seems fairly good, I think. Obviously, you really do want it for the buy at some point. Cider also has the option of taking the counterfeit, uh, which is definitely worth considering. I think I still prefer trashing the estate. It's just very nice to not have that in the deck anymore. Okay, they will go for the counterfeit. There just is sort of a lack of threes that I actually want. I mean, you can buy silver. Silver is good-ish. I mean, you want to purchase a lot of cavalries, which implies that you want money for, buying the cavalries. So there's not a more immediately accessible source of money than silver at the moment. So this looks like a good spot to buy cavalry. Second counterfeit is also reasonable. So the question is, do you take the lost arts now, um, or do you take a second counterfeit first? You could go with like counterfeit camel train, I suppose. You don't really need the draw from the cavalry very urgently. So yeah, I think I like taking the second counterfeit. The gear does not, I'm not feeling is so good. For Marin, I think that the Lost Arts on Cavalry is more appealing. They have more crap in their deck, and therefore more need for uh, draw, more use for draw. They elect to get the peddlers going. It is definitely an awkward board for getting peddler going. I guess that's the motivation for Cider picking up the steward so that they can get two actions in play. But I still think it's probably better to just maybe go for the Lost Arts as a way to get more actions in play, because you definitely need it at some point. And the cavalry's, you know, um, And the cavalries give you the buyback when you buy them. So if you can like lost arts, cavalry, buy cavalry, play the cavalry, and so on and so forth. You can get some free peddlers out of that type of thing. I definitely think at this point for cider, it's time for lost arts. The only other thing I would consider is like a gold. Yeah, the sequencing on this board is pretty tricky. Whether you want, like, do you want any cavalries before you get lost arts? Cider goes for cavalry plus lost arts on cavalry, I assume. Which seems pretty uh, straightforwardly like a thing you need. That's what you need to do at this point. And now on their turn, Cider can like get I guess a couple cavalries and some peddlers. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's the best way for Marin to get back into this game. I don't think they're incredibly far behind, but I also, I mean, Cider's deck is going to be very consistent. So I mean, the out for Marin is basically that uh, Cider, misplays something and leaves some sort of pile out. As Marin here, I think I just take the Lost Arts, uh, call it a day, and then next turn, you know, click on the Cavalry button as much as I can. They go Lost Arts Peddler, which um, I am not particularly enthused about. Obviously, if you get a lot of peddlers, it's not going to be worse than Lost Arts on Cavalry, but we'll see how it goes. Mostly the Lost Arts on Peddler seems like, yeah, I mean, they're not going to get a lot of peddlers. This is very true. Um, Maybe they have to hope that they're going to get a lot of peddlers. I mean, the only really real advantage of Lost Arts on Peddler is that it lets them potentially play their gear and their steward in the same turn, which is something. Counterfeit Doubler Peddler, yeah, I think that looks nice. Marin does get the payoff for the Lost Arts on Peddler here. And now we'll be able to grab some uh, couple peddlers and a couple cavalries, I guess. I mean, this will be three peddlers for Marin, so they will, I guess, end up at uh, at a 4-6 split, um, which is obviously not great for them. But still, yeah. I mean, this turn is I think better than it would have been if they had put the Lost Arts on. Setting the copper aside is I think really bad. This is that's not how I would have played it at least. I would have tried to, you know, buy Peddler. Well, I guess it didn't work 'cause I didn't have three actions in play. Yeah, okay. I guess the line I was thinking about just didn't work. So that explains why Marin didn't go for it. So the question for Cider here is, so they'll have four buys. How do they choose to use them? I think probably the best way is to take one cavalry and four peddlers. There's maybe a case to be made for not taking the cavalry and getting the potion now instead. You can blow up the counterfeit for more buys. Uh, the question is a counterfeit better than a peddler? Yeah, probably the peddler is better than the third counterfeit. The third counterfeit is not going to do a whole lot. Yeah, probably just really, need to grab all four peddlers. Really put a very strong top end of what Marin's deck can do without moving the Lost Arts again. Because if you're limited to five actions, then yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to gain and play the peddlers. Well, the reason is that you don't need the money, so you know, does that count as a reason? You could gain and play the peddlers. There's no reason you can't do that. You don't need that much money. It would cost a horse, but you don't need that horse. You have you have enough draw. This deck is going to overdraw by about one, an enormous. It's going to overdraw by an enormous amount just because the cavalries are like points. Huh. Okay, not taking two free cavalries. Not taking two free cavalries is really strange. Yeah. I don't know if that's enough to yeah, I mean it's probably not enough that they'll lose, but it's these kind of things that that's it's opening the door, I guess, for Marin maybe a little bit. So Marin can pick up another cavalry here. Uh, they'll get the first crack at the vineyards, which is definitely something. You could also consider like Marauder, just so that you can counterfeit the spoils. That's a reasonably large amount of money. You want to be able to buy cavalries. I think it should probably work out to be okay in the end. I mean, obviously there's an issue with are you just sort of needlessly handing your opponent points? There's also I would say a case for taking second potion here. Like if you take two potions, I mean, you're threatening to take four vineyards on your next turn, and then you have the vineyard split, which is definitely uh, a valuable thing to have. And that is the line that they go for. Cider will be able to gain and play some potions here, which I assume is the thing to do for them. Yeah, I mean, Marin can definitely get four vineyards. I was thinking about if it's possible to get six, but I'm not sure that they will be able to generate eight money. Let's think here. Marin has four peddlers. It's four money. The copper is five. Yeah, I mean they can take all five of these vineyards, I think. Yeah, I mean the four is easy, but I would still want the fifth one. I don't know if five vineyards is 100% winning. I would guess it's uh, the best thing that Marin can do and gives them a reasonable chance at winning. I mean, this does look pretty easy to me. Yeah. What are the bottom cards? Two peddlers and two. Are there two horses down there? Yeah, five is no longer possible. But I mean, taking four is still, I think that's still a strong thing to do, for sure. And I mean, there's an advantage to taking four, just in the sense that, you didn't have to spend four money on a potion that's only getting used once. So now you get four vineyards and cavalry. Well, I mean, you get the cavalry first, obviously, before the four vineyards, but yeah. Yeah, the skipping the free cav is not good. I don't think. They've both done it now, I guess. They're just not on the ball. I mean, for Marin, I guess I mean, there's an argument there that you don't have terminal space, which isn't even true because they could, uh, yeah, they could set something aside with gear, and then that opens up a terminal space. But yeah, I mean, if you're Marin, your way to winning here is to take those cavalries, as fast as you can, because cider will outvalue you, like they're on their three vineyards, eventually. So the question is, I guess, what do you do as cider? It's not. I'm. It doesn't seem great to lower the cavalries at this point. Um, so the question is, how are you going to make up these make up this points deficit? You can start doing some amount of camel training, I guess. Yeah, I think move law starts, is a good idea for cider, given that in this situation you probably are not touching the calories too much. So yeah, move law starts, and then start picking up, I guess some gears, maybe a camel train or something. Um, get a Philosopher's Stone and then play it, after you created a huge discard pile full of horses. That was a joke. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that so Marin doesn't have a potion anymore. So Cider can leave the vineyard in the pile, maybe. If Marin can't hit 8, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that the it's something to think about, I guess, but probably not actually good in practice. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's good to leave the vineyard because I mean, if you leave the vineyard, I mean, if we assume that Marin's deck can't make 8, which I don't think it can, then you either Marin buys a potion, in which case you just buy the vineyard, and then you've made Marin waste 4 money, or you or Marin doesn't buy a potion, in which case you have control over the end of the game, at least until Marin gets back to the state of having 8 in the deck. So you just have to weigh that against the disadvantage of having of not being able to trash the potion right now, which is probably fine. I don't think I mean cider is not lacking for draw at the moment. I don't think so. It seems fine to keep the vineyard or to keep the potion around, and maybe make things more awkward for Marin. So we'll see what cider chooses to do here. Uh, I do think that moving the Lost Arts is kind of forced. They will buy the last vineyard. I mean, it's a free play in the sense that, like, I mean, if you buy the vineyard, it's one more stop card, right? So converting the potion into a vineyard does not really I mean, it doesn't change the number of stop cards in your deck. You do need to, be able to draw your potion at the moment when you want to buy the vineyard, but I don't think that's like incredibly complicated. Ooh, we do see a T-mute. All right, that's a spicy play. And a province. All right. So they have decided not to try and compete on vineyard points. They will go for provinces. They have managed to close most of the points gap. We'll see what Marin can do here and how much their score fluctuates as they get through the deck. Yeah, so this will be two calves. So I guess Marin did have you know, the ability to generate 8 money, which makes all of our various discussions about not taking the vineyard moot. I'm not sure if there's a well, my guess is that Cider can find a way to empty 3 cavalries, so you may as well take the second one here. These are, I think, some perhaps slightly generous undos. So nice of Cider to allow them. Marin goes for the camel train and a copper. I do not. I'm not counting the number of action cards in anyone's deck, so I will not comment on whether it's a good idea to have an abandoned mine or not. So can Cider win here? Definitely can empty the cavalries. Each cavalry is 3 points. So 18. So we'll get plus another 6 points. So 18, 24. Yeah. So this is a win. I'm pretty sure. I mean, they're more than 3 points. There's because they give you buys back, so you can buy ruins. Yeah, so this is well over, I think. Well, assuming that Cider finds the win here, we will have had the final game of the 2022 Dominion World Championship, having or Dominion Online Championship, having been won by a player with a transmute in their deck, which is, I think, a very nice moment. Yeah, and as JH mentions, it's been a very, very strong run for them in terms of tournament performance. Extremely impressive. They start out buying Abandoned Mine. Marin has won 1.5 games. Okay, looks like that's that. So congratulations to Cider on very impressive performance in the tournament and also in this championship match, and also to Marin for making a run to second place, and I think playing very well in this final match as well. And thanks to Steph and Dominion Online for supporting this tournament, and to all the people who moderated it, of which I guess I am technically one, but there are definitely people who worked a lot harder. And thanks everyone for listening.